and overcast in Cincinnati today. Couple of teams on opposite streaks. The Cubs look for their 5th consecutive win and a sweep of this series. Meantime, the Reds have dropped 11 in a row. Cubs and Reds wrap up this series. Welcome to Cubs baseball here on CSN. Jim Deshaies and Len Casper. Jason Hamill will make his final start of the regular season, and this could be an important one in terms of the playoff roster.
As Joe Madden contemplates the postseason and who will take the ball for that third game if there is a third game. We know it's going to be Arrieta in the wild card game. We know it's going to be John Lester in the division series first game if there is one. And will Jason Hamill get the ball in that next game? Early, he was really good. Remember the control? So outstanding early in the year. April and July, 6-5. With a 3.13 ERA, 20 starts, he walked only 24. Since then, it's been shaky. The home runs up, the walks up, and the ERA up at 5.66 August and September combined.
Yeah, he hasn't gone very deep either. Over his last 14 starts, has not gone 7 innings. So a big one today for Hamill. Left-hander John Lamb will go for the Cincinnati Reds, his first career start against the Cubs. Yeah, a lot of helmet rubbing last night in the Cubs' 10-3 win over the Reds. Will wrap up the series next.
By your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. AT&T Uverse. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT, mobilizing your world. Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
If you make it down here to Great American Ballpark, make sure you stop by the Reds Hall of Fame. You might find some stuff about the Big Red Machine in the 70s. Pretty good bet.
Yeah, pretty good chance you're going to see a little Joe Morgan, little Johnny Bench.
David Ross having fun in the dugout as the Cubs are trying to sweep this series. Let's hear from Joe Madden on the special group, the 2015 Chicago Cubs.
A lot of the guys that maybe had never been in that position before kind of like what's going on right now. And so they're buying in. And I also totally believe the veterans on this team have helped a lot in regards to making that all play that way. Talked about it all year. I was fortunate enough in the past when Hinske was part of the Rays and Percival and Cliff Floyd, big part of that, Danny Wheeler. Those guys really did the clubhouse good there, and these guys have done the clubhouse good here.
Ross and Lester and Montero, Coughlin, and the whole group, Dan Herron. And we're getting set, even though it's raining, and it has cooled off quite a bit. Kind of has this late April feel here on the first day of October. Let's get the Cubs Southwest starting lineup against a rookie lefty named John Lamb. Dexter Fowler in the leadoff spot. Big night for Austin Jackson, a career-high 5 RBIs last night. Starlin Castro tied his career high with 4 hits. Rizzo will clean up. The former Red Chris DeNorfie is in left. Javi Baez is at third. Kyle Schwarber will catch for the first time as a starter in a month. Hamill will hit 8th with Russell, the shortstop, coming off a 3-hit night, batting 9th.
A peek at the Reds defensively, and you'll find Jason Bourgeois in center field. Newcomer Bourgeois in left. Newcomer Tyler Holt is in center. Jay Bruce is the right fielder. Frazier and Votto back in there. They were out of the lineup in the ball game yesterday. Suarez and Phillips up the middle. Tucker Barnhart solid defensively behind the plate, and the Alexis starting pitcher is the young left-hander, John Lamb, 25 years of age, one of 3 lefties acquired by the Reds in the Johnny Cueto deal. Pretty well inked up. You see he went into the catcher's position to catch that throw. He seems to be every bit the left-hander here. Lamb, 9 starts, 1-4, the 5.40 ERA. A fastball, cutter, curveball, and a changeup is a real plus pitch for him. Outstanding year at AAA, most with the Royals at Omaha, and a little bit with the Reds AAA club in Louisville.
So we're underway, and if today's Cubs leadoff man gets a hit, Benny's Beverage Depot will donate $100 to Make-A-Wish, Illinois. Cubs will try to tattoo this left-hander, or at least add to those tattoos. Fowler hitting right-handed. He takes a pitch off the plate inside. Was out of the lineup last night after scoring his 100th run of the year in the first inning of the series Tuesday.
Working quickly, not taking a lot of time between pitches. His fastball will max out at 94, sit right around 91, 92.
That will roll foul to third.
Lamb, 3-4 years ago, was one of the top pitching prospects in baseball. Had Tommy John surgery. He's had to work his way back from that. It's been a bit of a struggle for him, but as I mentioned, really good in the minor leagues this year. Hey, he looks like a Dukes of Hazzard guy there, doesn't he?
He does. Good call.
Yeah. General Lee's probably parked outside the ballpark.
He's actually from California. As Fowler rolls one to Phillips. Someday I want a scientist to figure out how your brain works, because I can't figure it out. It's going down a lot of fun roads, man.
It's my favorite game. Who does he look like?
Here's Jackson. I can't argue with you, by the way. Austin knocked in 5, 3 hits, 2 doubles in the ball game last night.
Yeah, he had not had a lot of success in a Cub uniform. He hasn't had a ton of playing time, so nice to see him break out in a big way in that ball game last night. Still looking for his first home run in a Cub uniform. He had 8 with the Mariners. It's never been a big part of his game anyway.
Up and in, according to Bill Miller, the crew chief. Calling balls and strikes. Jim Wolf is at first. Got to keep Wolf away from Lamb. Eddings and Johnson second and third. And a line shot to Suarez for the second out.
Jackson's pretty well locked in with the night he had last night and absolutely smothered that ball. That thing had all kinds of heat on it. Maybe a little funky action at the end. Suarez just able to hang on. This guy had a big night last night.
Did he ever? Both ways, offense, defense, and just got out of the way of that inside pitch.
Well, you know, Lamb, a guy, as I mentioned, has a very good changeup, so it's important for him to work inside. He throws a lot of cutters, so he'll like to move the guys off the plate or try to get weak contact in on the hands with that cutter to set up the changeup and then the elevated fastball. It's a pretty familiar profile for left-handed pitcher.
Astro led the majors with a .426 average in September, 0 for 1 to start the month of October. Cubs go down in order on this rainy day. It's Jason Hammel to the mound. In 1998, they've only put up 25 runs during this losing streak, but they do have Votto and Frazier in there today. Votto will hit behind Bourgeois ahead of Brandon Phillips. Jay Bruce cleaning up. You see Todd Frazier trailing just Matt Carpenter in the National League. In doubles, Suarez, Barnhart, Holt, and John Lamb, the pitcher, still looking for his first major league hit.
Cubs defensively, Denorfia gets a start in left this afternoon. Fowler back in center. Austin Jackson will handle rights. Baez, Russell, Castro, Rizzo on the infield. Castro made a sparkling play here last night. Kyle Schwarber, as Len mentioned, his first starting assignment behind the plate since August 31st. And on the mound, the Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher for the Cubs. Jason Hammel making his final start of the year. 9 up, 7 down, a .386 earned run average. No wins, no losses in 3 starts against the Reds this year.
Career high 31st start for Jason Hammel. He's had first inning problems. Last time out, however, that was not the issue. He was really good early against the Pirates, and then it just kind of fell apart in the 5th inning.
Yeah, that seems to be the storyline with Jason this year, whether it's the first inning or the 5th. You know, one big inning seems to be his undoing, and I guess you could say that about a lot of pitchers. He'll be going along nicely, and all of a sudden the wheels will come off. But overall, a solid season. 23 first inning runs. So it certainly has been a problem.
Bourgeois stays alive. 2-2 the count. Here it comes, and it's full. 3-2. Jason actually pitched in the wild card game over in the American League last year. And a base hit to left. Diving stop there on the track by Denorfia. But Bourgeois has a stand-up double. Lead-off double for Bourgeois.
Might have been 3 had Denorfia not left his feet to smother that ball, but a good start for the Reds and Bourgeois. Reds are interesting. They've played from in front a lot this year. They've scored first in a lot of their games, but they've ended up losing a whole bunch of games where they had early leads. The pitching has not been good. And of course, they've gone to this all rookie rotation now since the trade deadline. And that hasn't worked out real well for them.
Votto swings away at the first pitch. High drive out into deep left center. Denorfia back near the wall. He's got it. Bourgeois will head back and tag, and he'll head to third. Joey Votto just missed a home run. In his return to the lineup, he sat out last night. Had some discomfort behind his shoulder.
He wants no part of the fist bump from anybody in that dugout. He said, no, thank you. I'm not taking any congratulations. High towering drive, and oh, there he goes. Now he's getting it.
Cubs will bring their infield in. Yeah, Hamill came in the 12th inning for the A's last year. He did not take the loss. He gave up the game-ending RBI single to Salvador Perez. That is low. We would not expect Jason to be on the wild card roster. Probably would be Arrieta, Lester, the two starters, and then a bunch of relievers.
Yeah, you would take Lester just in case something happened to Arrieta.
Swing and a miss by Phillips.
You have to, be protected just in case your starting pitcher ended up with a little tweak out in the bullpen or got hurt early and had to come out.
Big bat waggle for Phillips as he takes that pitch low. 2 balls and a strike.
Last day of school here for the Reds here at home. They go on the road to finish the season. They'll be in Pittsburgh, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, the Cubs win today. Well, even if they don't, they're going to root hard for the Reds in that series in Pittsburgh. The Pirates' magic number to host the wild card is 2. That's a combination of Pirates wins and Cubs losses. Pirates are off today. Swing and a miss, 2-2. So if the Cubs run the table, win the final 4 games, they would need Cincinnati to win 2 of 3 in Pittsburgh, and then the Cubs and Pirates would finish with the same record. Cubs would win the tiebreaker based on season series head-to-head. The Pirates would come to Wrigley.
What a percentage on the chances of that happening? You'd have to go, I don't know, about 5% maybe.
Well, and talk to Joe today if that is still in play as we see the Elgin Toyota upcoming schedule. So if let's say you go into the Sunday game and you need a win and a Pirates loss, he said, I probably wouldn't do anything differently other than leave my starting position players in the game longer.
Right. Otherwise, you kind of treat it like a spring training game. Yep. A couple ABs, hit the showers.
2-2 to Phillips. Swing and a miss on the slider. When Hamill is at his best, that is his out pitch. And a big strikeout, 2 away.
Yeah, and it's one of the more effective sliders in the game. He gets a lot of swings and misses with it. And Phillips is kind of a swing-first guy. He rarely walks. He's in swing mode here with that man on third base. He's trying to drive that run home. That's the thing about Hamill's slider. Everybody knows that it's his primary weapon. They know under duress he's going to come with it. But still, a lot of times they can't do anything with it.
Jay Bruce takes ball 1. Baez, the third baseman, off the line and playing right in the base path. Russell shaded up the middle. And the 1-1. Or 1-0 rather. Now 2 balls, no strikes. 54 degrees at game time.
Feeling rather fallish out here today. That last one was an attempt at a curveball, and he's kind of spun it up out of the zone.
Two and 1. I suppose it would have been appropriate for the Reds to have one final rain delay here in their final home date, but hopefully that doesn't happen.
No, the skies are brightening. I think we're going to be okay.
Left field, DeNorfie is over, and he will not have a play.
Jason Hamill 9-7. So if he gets the W today, it will match his career high. He's been a 10-game winner on 3 previous occasions. Backdoor curveball there, and there's been, some of his recent starts he's featured the curveball a little bit more. Most of the year, hitters could count on fastball slider about 90% of the time.
Bourgeois at third, 2 outs, first inning. Frazier on deck. 3-2 on Bruce. Nothing toward the inside part of the plate as of yet. Schwarber sets up toward the outside again, and that ball fouled out of play.
And contemplating his options as he rubs up that baseball. Where to go? Maybe try to throw that slider down and in towards the back foot. A go-to pitch for Hamill sometimes to the left-handed hitters. You see all the work has been away.
Here they go, and called strike 3. Bruce will make his case to Bill Miller, and Hamill gets out of it. No score after an inning.
Follow the Cubs' push to the postseason is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at bat now.
Just in the nick of time. 1-0 on Anthony Rizzo. He drives one to center. Very deep. Holt on the track for the out.
Rizzo sitting on 30 home runs. He's driven in 95. A pretty good charge on that one, but big part of the yard.
Denorfia, ball one. Pinch hit, bases loaded walk in the 8th last night. Struck out in the 9th. 19th round pick of the Reds, an 0-2 out of Wheaton College. So Denorfia, an interesting topic in terms of that postseason roster. He has hit .324 as a pinch hitter this year, 11 out of 34. A veteran guy, can play all 3 outfield spots. Sounds like all those roster conversations will basically happen on Monday before the Cubs probably head to Pittsburgh as he strikes out, 2 away. Joe said one thing at a time.
Yeah, I haven't sat down and played with the names and the numbers, but certainly Denorfia, the kind of guy you'd like to have available off the bench. There's a lot of guys that bring different skill sets to the table, and that's what Joe's going to have to sort out.
Yeah, you can make a case for a lot of guys to be on that roster. And if they're not, they still can be on the division roster as Baez swings and misses. And on the hands that time, 1 ball, 1 strike. Birthday wishes today. Mary Morello, retired Libertyville High School teacher. Line shot out toward the alley, and it'll get down. Baez on his way to second. The throw will be cut off. 2-out double.
Yeah, certainly a time with 2 outs where you want to press it to get into scoring position. You see that ball headed towards the gap. Off you go. Sell out, go hard. Make sure you get to second base. Looked like a cutter that didn't quite get in on his hands. Baez ripped the double into the right field corner last night. This time he goes into the left center gap.
That'll give Schwarber a chance, hitting 7th today and catching. And inside, ball 1. Big numbers in this ballpark. .435 this season. Strike 1-1. Noticed Lamb as the Reds were throwing the ball around the horn before the first inning. He got down in a catcher's stance to get the ball from Todd Frazier. He did it again before this second inning, so that seems to be his thing. Ball strike 3 on a curve at 71 to get out of the inning. 2-out double Baez. No runs though. Still nothing in the second. us in the booth. See what it takes to produce a Major League Baseball game. All part of the Hunt for October, presented by Felco tonight on Sportsnet Central.
That's must-see TV.
I'm intrigued. Got a tweet, and I thought I might answer it. Dan wants to know, why are they called the Reds? Well, the original name was the Red Stockings. The Cubs were the White Stockings. The Reds wore red socks, so it makes sense. Then they were the Red Legs. Then just the Reds. And briefly in the 50s, right? They went back to the Red Legs.
Yeah, because the whole communism thing.
Yeah, and it was never really openly acknowledged, but seems that
nobody wanted to root for the Reds in the 50s.
Right. Want to know on Todd Frazier, the All-Star. 1-1. He left on Tuesday with a slight strain of his right Achilles. Was in the lineup last night, took BP, decided wasn't good enough to go, but he's in there today. 1-1 pitch is inside.
Yeah, there was a team, a minor league team once called the Cub Sox, and it was a team, it was a shared affiliate between the White Sox and the Cubs.
I like that. Yeah, 1869. Baseball's oldest pro franchise started here in Cincinnati. First pro baseball game ever, May 4th of 1869. And it was the Cincinnati Red Stockings over the Cincinnati Great Westerns, 45-9.
Oh, man.
Somebody missed an extra point.
Get the ball down.
The Red Stockings would win their first 130 games. High in the air, Denorfia into the corner, and he's got it. Foul territory, actually almost overran it as he retires Frazier. That ball was in the air for a long time.
Denorfia's been busy here early. Left his feet to snag that base hit, the double by Bourgeois, then ran a long way to run down Votto's drive. Now into the corner he goes. It was a little limbo move to catch that high fly by Frazier.
Swing and a miss by Suarez. So 1876 is when the National League was established, and both these franchises were part of it. Did you know that the Red Stockings were kicked out of the National League in 1880?
For what?
Well, they rented out the park on Sundays and sold beer during games.
Yeah. Violation of the blue laws.
Came back to the NL in 1890. It's a base hit.
Look out, Doug.
Doug Eddings had to get out of the way. Second hit for Cincinnati.
That one was really barreled up. Like it had a little knuckling action on it.
Yeah, they have a big opening day parade here, and for a long time, the first baseball game of every regular season was here in Cincinnati. That's kind of been lost, that tradition, with the Sunday night games now.
Yeah, went away a few years ago.
Now the switch hitting catcher Barnhart. Curve for a strike, as JD mentioned. You've seen Hamill use that pitch a lot here early.
Yeah, and that's a good, get over pitch against left-handed hitters for him. A little backdoor curveball. Hitters tend to quit on it. Find the outside part of the plate, get a called strike, and go to work from there. That time you got a little benefit of the doubt from Bill Miller.
Ground ball. Castro's got it. Russell, and and they turn it 4-6-3 to end the inning. On to the third. 0-0.
Alumni at the 2016 Cubs Convention, which will take place January 15th through the 17th at the Sheraton Chicago Hotel and Towers. Hotel packages and weekend passes are on sale now. Visit Cubs.com/convention to get your passes before they sell out, and you know they're going to sell out.
Let's get a replay of that Chris Denorfie catch in foul territory. It's more of a recreation. John Maley, the hitting coach. Strike on Jason Hamill, career high 11 hits this year. Oh, 0-2. Continues to rain lightly. Bounced over the mound. It'll be picked up by Suarez.
I mentioned Lamb at one time, a top pitching prospect for the Royals, and I think probably considered by most as the third in terms of his ceiling in this deal that they made with the Royals for Johnny Cueto. But I'm intrigued by this kid, given what he once was and the mix of pitches that he has. He's got a chance to be successful here. Haven't really seen him work that changeup very often. That's a plus pitch for him. Maybe second time through the order we'll see that a little bit more.
On Addison Russell, misses inside. Lamb, born in La Palma, California, went to Laguna Hills High School. His grandfather, John Ramsey, was the longtime PA announcer for just about everybody in LA. Dodgers, Rams, Raiders, Trojans, Angels, Kings, Lakers. He was the first public address announcer for the Super Bowl, did 5 in all. He passed away 7 months before his grandson was born.
There's another John Lamb that pitched for the Pirates a little bit in the early 70s. Don't believe any relation.
Ball 4. You hear some clicking noises on our home plate microphones, and got photographers near those mics. One out base runner. Here's Fowler. 65 career homers, 65 career triples for Dexter. Ball one, and here comes Barnhart to the mound.
It's almost a default move now, isn't it, for catchers after a walk? Ball one, time to have a chat.
I saw some comments from the commissioner, Rob Manfred, about continuing to look at ways to streamline games, get the pace of the game moving along. And there was a reference to possibly limiting mound visits, maybe making a pitcher who comes into the game face multiple batters. I do think there's value in maybe limiting mound visits and say that maybe 2 visits per inning by either the pitching coach, manager, or any teammate without taking a guy out. How about that? Do we need a catcher to go out there 3 times an inning?
I would be even more extreme than that. I would really limit the number of trips over the course of a game that a catcher could make to the mound, or for any given pitcher. Well, you see it now a lot too, where the home plate umpire, the catcher will ask for time and will start out there. And it used to be the umpire would wait a little bit and then go out to break up the conference. A lot of times now you see the umpire, as soon as the catcher leaves, he'll just follow him. So I'm going to let you go out there. I'm going to be right on your heels.
Well, what day was it? It was the Arrieta night, right? Sunday night. That game against the Pirates was just cruising along. And then I think Clint Hurdle used several pitchers in one inning. And look, it's not to blame the managers, as Lamb has walked back-to-back hitters. Especially you get into September, you're going to use all your guys. But it does really take away the momentum of the game, especially late.
Yeah, it's like an NBA game when all the timeouts come late. Yeah, and absolutely you can't put it on the managers. They're going to take advantage of every strategic edge that they have. In September, with expanded rosters, there's no move that can't be countered.
2 on for Jackson. He lined out to the shortstop his first time. And he pulls one foul to left, out of play. The one thing about having relief pitchers face more than one batter is that could have the dual effect of helping a little bit with pace of game and possibly helping with offense. I know that is another concern the commissioner has. I would prefer not to mess too much with the actual game itself, but if you did something like that, took away that matchup advantage a bit, you never know. Jackson to deep left. And it will go. A 3-run homer. He's knocked in 8 over the last 2 days.
A big night last night, and there indeed is his first home run in a Cub uniform. He hit a bullet to short first time up. Austin Jackson obviously seeing the ball very well, and even better than that, hitting it very well.
Make him pay for the 2 walks right ahead of Jackson's at bat.
Boss Hogg is not going to be happy.
Just like that, 3-0. Here's Castro. Curve strike.
Well, it's going to be a process for all these young Reds pitchers, learning on the fly here. Saw it last night from Anthony DeSclafani, the young right-hander who's had a real nice year. He's been in the rotation all season. Got off to a great start. He was striking everybody out. Had 6 strikeouts through the first 8 batters for 7 batters. Looked like he was going to pitch a shutout and end up giving up 5 runs in 5+ innings.
got him. Boy, stuck with that curveball, and he gets Castro for his third strikeout.
Yeah, he takes a lot off this one. This is a Randy Wolf-ish, 68 miles an hour to get Castro.
Rizzo gave it a ride in the second in his first at bat as he flied to the warning track. He yanks this one foul. Austin Jackson with a 3-run homer. The wind and the pitch. 0-2. He got him on the curve to end the inning, but back-to-back walks, and then Austin Jackson with a 3-run homer and hugs around the dugout. 3-0.
Cubs charities by being part of our holiday tradition. Purchase your limited edition Chicago Cubs home and away Christopher Radko glass ornament. Ornaments cost $60. All proceeds will benefit Cubs charities. Visit Cubs.com/ornament for more information.
Runs scored, 4 guys in the National League in triple digits, including Dexter Fowler for the first time in his career. Tyler Holt takes a strike. Second straight start. Just got claimed off waivers from Cleveland on Sunday. 1 for 3 with a walk and 2 runs last night in his Reds debut. And he bunts foul to third.
Well, he's a speed guy. He doesn't hit for power. He only has 6 minor league home runs and better than 2,300 plate appearances. And with the rain, grass a little wet, slippery. Not a bad idea to make a guy try to make a play with a wet ball.
Bounce to Rizzo. He'll underhand toss to Hamill covering first. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag Northside Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself later in the game. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Pitcher Lamb 0 for 15 with the run knocked in, 8 strikeouts. One and one. Arrieta, Hendricks, and Herron. Cubs probables for this weekend's series in Milwaukee. Ariel Pena, Tyler Wagner, Jorge Lopez. 3 rookie right-handers for the Brewers. We've got some homework to do.
Yeah, well, and Cubs have seen a lot of rookie pitchers here in the last couple of weeks because their schedule's been heavy Brewer red, and the Reds have been featuring this all-rookie rotation for a good long while now, and that's been the case more recently with the Brewers. The hitters will have some homework to do as well. Breaking down the video.
He gets a hold of one. Denorfia will have to chase it down. That's the first major league hit for John Lamb, and it's a double.
He seems rather blasé about it.
I was going to say, yeah. I thought he might be a little happier about it.
He's kind of going with the act like you've been there before. He's getting a nice round of applause from the boys in the dugout.
I think he's still grinding on those 2 walks he gave up before the home run.
Yeah, that's not likely to lighten a pitcher's mood all that much. Denorfia had really shortened up for him. Lamb made him pay.
Bourgeois, slider, strike. Hamill back with the Cubs, second time around. Tenth major league season.
Two-year deal plus a club option, so he's under contract for this year and next, perhaps beyond. Total of $20 million. Middle of the rotation guy, and he performed, as we said, so well early. He's going to struggle in the second half. A 6.46 ERA in September. With context, however, I mean, you look at that number and you go, woo, that's ugly.
That's a base hit. Lamb had to hold to make sure it got through. Back-to-back 1-out hits with Votto coming up.
Context being this: in the second half, he's dealt with had a hamstring injury. He had at least one rain-shortened start. He had a couple of games where he was pitching okay, but Joe Madden just didn't like the matchup, so he made an early move to the bullpen. We've talked about that with Hamill and Hendricks. Sometimes that ERA is a little bit inflated because they don't get the chance to stay in the game because the manager prefers the bullpen option. So, you've worked 5 1/3. You've allowed 3 or 4 runs. If you could stay in and stretch that outing out to 7 innings, all of a sudden that ERA looks a little better.
Here's Votto. And a strike.
So as a pitcher, how do you fix that? Well, you just continue to pitch hard and pitch better and convince the manager that you're the better option in those crisis situations in the 6th inning than the guy that's warming up in the bullpen.
Votto has a very outside chance of joining a pretty exclusive club. He would need a home run and 8 walks over these last 4 games to do it. Long pause by Hamill, time called. That is the 300 batting average, 30 homer, 150 walk club. Barry Bonds did it 4 times, Ted Williams 3 times, Babe Ruth twice. He's got a .537 on base average during this 46-game on base streak, 2 shy of the club record. set by Pete Rose in 1978.
Yeah, just an unbelievable run he's had. It's interesting, both he and Jake Arrieta certainly were considered but did not make the All-Star team. They've both probably been the best two performers in the National League since the All-Star game. I doubt that either one of them would say that that was motivation. You know, they're both really good performers to begin with, but they have been unbelievably good since the break. You know, and you consider what Votto's done in the context of a guy like Ted Williams, and you're always hesitant to make comparisons to one of the all-time greats. But back when Ted Williams was playing in the big leagues, there was eight teams in the league. So he saw a lot of the same pitchers over and over and over again. That's not so much the case in the modern game.
No, not at all.
And back when, you know, Teddy Ballgame was doing his thing, starting pitchers stayed in the games longer. So not only did he see the same pitchers more often, but more frequently in terms of at-bats per game. He goes into Sandlot slugger mode. Check him out. Crouching, choking up.
Down by Schwarber, but Bourgeois will take second on a wild pitch. Just looking, Ted Williams faced 7 pitchers in his career. He had more than 100 plate appearances against those guys.
Williams hit .406 overall in 1941. You're looking at the his second half numbers: a .583 on base, Votto 450 or .549, excuse me, this year.
Pretty impressive. The most plate appearances Votto's had against any pitcher, 61 against Wandy Rodriguez. And he's got a long career ahead of him, but you know, the guys at the top of that list: Rodriguez, Giovanni Gallardo, Chris Carpenter, Kyle Loesch. These are guys he's not going to face much, if at all, ever again.
The counter argument, I guess, would be, but because of expansion, pitching has been thinned out. I'm not sure I completely buy into that.
That's not true.
But I think, you know, most hitters would tell you that the more they see a guy, the more comfortable they're going to be.
Swing and a miss. Jason Hamill just struck out an MVP candidate in a big spot, 2 away.
Well, Hamill able to pitch around a leadoff double in the first, now trying to work out of this jam, and boy, this is particularly tough with a couple of guys in scoring position and Votto up there. In 1957, so getting towards the end of Williams' career, the second half of that year, he hit .453 with a .594 on base percentage.
Line shot. Jackson makes a catch on the move. That saved 2 runs.
That's a pretty good day. Drive in 3, save 2. Action Jackson getting it done.
So after 3, it's still 3-0 Cubs. Oh, what a catch.
Recap show in Chicagoland on High School Lights, hosted by Kelly Kroll. It's a half hour of scores, highlights, and reaction from around the region. Watch High School Lights tomorrow night at 11 on Comcast Sports Net. Frazier gets to work on his delivery.
3-0. Here's DeNorfia. And keeps slowing down that curveball. 71, 69, 66.
He telegraphs it a little bit too. He really kind of slows down his delivery. Probably would be better served to try to maintain the same tempo throughout. But he does have that. He's got that little hesitation at his balance point, then kind of slings the ball up there. Think about Tom Glavine. That's what all the guys like Lamb aspire to be. You know, they throw that little cutter in, command the outside corner. Just do it over and over again for about 20 years.
3 straight strikeouts for Lamb since the Jackson home run.
They got a deal here in Cincinnati that if a Reds pitcher strike out 11 or more, you get free pizza at a local pizza place. That has been the case in the first 2 games of this series. The Cubs are going to be very popular with the Reds fans.
A team that strikes out and walks a ton. Inside 1-1 on Baez. Played all 4 infield spots since his call up. And he grounds one towards center. That's a base hit. Double single for Baez. Schwarber caught looking in the second. He's got that hand and wrist guard. Remember, he broke a finger at AAA earlier this year. So Baez gets on base to make sure he protects it.
Frazier well off the line and deep, so Schwarber thought he'd try to push a bunt down in that direction. He really hasn't changed Frazier's thinking at all. He backs off. And we saw Baez go head first into second on his double, and that's always the fear when you go head first. Possible finger, wrist injury.
Towering fly ball. Shallow left center. It's Bourgeois. And 2 outs. It brings up Hamill. Astros rallied. 7-6 win at Seattle last night. They jumped back over the Angels. Second wild card position. As the Angels lost to the Oakland A's. Twins split a doubleheader in Cleveland yesterday. They're still in play. Game and a half behind the Astros. Blue Jays clinched their first American League East title since 1993. Cardinals their 11th NL Central crown since the division was created in 1994, and they will finish with the best record in baseball. 159 so far. Phillips makes a catch, and the inning is over. In the rain, the Cubs going for the sweep, leading 3-0 in the fourth. Elias, only 2 teams have finished in third place with at least 93 wins. So this is pretty historic what has gone on here. 1978 Brewers, a 2002 Seattle Mariners also did it.
In 78, the Brewers finishing third behind the Yankees, who were 163, and the Red Sox 99 and 64. That was the year they had the extra game, the Bucky Dent game, 1978. Baltimore Orioles won 90 games that year. So that's the thing, right? Everybody talks about, well, you know, it's a shame, and it is, that comes to the Pirates, one of these teams is going to be out in one game. But at least you have the chance. There's been a lot of great teams in the history of this game that never had that opportunity. That, you know, won 95 games.
So one more win, and the Cubs, since divisions started, will have the most wins ever by a third-place team. And they could still catch the Pirates. So they could make the Pirates that team.
That Pirate team will host this Reds team over the weekend. Liriano, Burnett, and Happ lined up to pitch for Pittsburgh against Kivius Sampson, Brandon Finnegan, another one of the lefties that the Reds got in the Johnny Cueto deal, and Josh Smith, the rookie we saw here the other day.
Bruce laces one all the way to the wall in left center, and he'll end up at second.
Well, hits in every inning for the Reds. 5 hits on the day. That's their third double, second leadoff double, but they've yet to cross home plate. This low fastball, and Bruce just carves it out there into left center. Ball will really scoot on that wet grass. Might pay off to play just a little bit deeper. Give you a chance to cut off a ball in the gap. .35 home runs. Frazier, tremendous raw power. We've seen him go way up in dead central here, up there in near the top of that pilot house.
Yeah, pretty cool for Frazier to be an all-star this particular year and win the home run derby in his home ballpark. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Just about everybody seemed to be in play as the trade deadline neared with the Reds. We heard Jay Bruce's name a lot. He's still here. Frazier's name popped up a little bit, but that was fairly quickly squashed. He said, no, we're not going to move him. I wonder if Brandon Phillips might be on the move this offseason. With the way Suarez has played, they could move Phillips' contract, maybe slide Suarez over to second base and count on Zach Cozart coming back. Would save him a few shekels.
Suarez fouls off first base side.
Have to figure if you're the Reds with all this young pitching still being developed, and you're probably 2 or 3 years away from being competitive again. At that point, how much does Brandon Phillips have left in the tank? Homer Bailey has a long, high-dollar contract.
That's going to stay fair. Oh, Hamill bobbled. That's a tricky play. You got a guy running right past you. You know you've got him out if you just pick up the ball. It's raining, ball spinning, and it'll be an error on Hamill.
I can feel his pain right there, because it's probably going to, if he lets it go, it's probably going to trickle foul. But he's also thinking, if I can just pick it up, I'm going to get it out here. Concentration, obviously, an issue with that guy running by. Debating whether you're going to pick him up, try to make a quick tag, flip it to first base. Well, he has not broken here today. A lot of base runners, but no runs. Made big pitches when he has needed to, and he's got another opportunity to do that right here with Barnhart up. Barnhart grounded into a double play last time. Of the 4-6-3 variety.
Two on Barnhart. Bruce at third, Suarez at first, tap foul.
Mentioned that this is Kyle Schwarber's first start behind the plate since the end of August, and Joe Maddon taking these final days of the regular season just to put guys in different spots, getting another look at them, making sure they're comfortable. You know, Schwarber might be called upon to do a little catching in the postseason. We saw Javi Baez a little bit at first base at the end of the game last night.
Pitch number 70. Looks like Schwarber wants a curveball. Runner goes from first, and bouncer to Baez. He's going to fire home, and they've got Bruce. So Baez wanted to turn two. When he realized Suarez was already at second base, they simply fired to the plate. Schwarber applied the tag. 2 down.
As Suarez moving with the pitch takes away the double play opportunity. Baez alertly adjusts, throws home to get Bruce.
Soft liner to Castro, inning over. Reds strand a couple. Cubs lead 3-0 after 4.
Cubs spring training experience at beautiful Sloan Park. Go to Cubs.com/Sloan Park to place a deposit on season tickets and secure the best seats available. Individual spring training tickets will go on sale in January, so be sure to visit Cubs.com/Sloan Park for the latest updates.
Well, taking a look at the playoff picture, pretty clear in the National League. Here's the American League. Blue Jays and Royals have clinched their division. It is crazy out west, and the Angels and the Rangers will start a 4-gamer to finish up the regular season.
Yeah, all kinds of potential scenarios there. 4-gamer in Arlington. While the Astros are off today, we'll play a weekend series at Arizona against the D-backs. Yankees are what, magic number 1 to clinch the top wild card spot. They've dropped 3 in a row, but they're still in really good shape.
Russell, Fowler, Jackson, curve, strike. Okay, so Yankees in good shape.
Just all kinds of wackiness after that.
The Indians are out, officially eliminated. Way outside, 2-2.
Is it my imagination, or have we not seen the changeup here from Lamb today very much at all? That's what I kept reading about.
That might have been it. By the speed, I think that was a breaking ball.
Let him in there. Ooh, slipped it right by him at 88. Tough to get to up there, up above the hands. There's the bell of Cincinnati. Working its way down the mighty Ohio. That's a knock.
Is a base hit for Fowler. Get guys on base for Jackson. 5 RBIs last night. 3-run homer in the 3rd inning today. Big leg kick.
That's a confident swing right there. You can tell when a guy's seeing it well.
Xfinity high-speed action after back-to-back walks. Jackson with a home run, and then the great running catch. That saved 2 runs following half inning.
Looks like Lamb has made a decision here, a commitment to throw that curveball a little bit more than the changeup. Big differential, 91-92 with the fastball and the upper 60s curve.
Yeah, I'm going to say that pitch we've seen it's 78 to 81, but that's the change.
Yeah, I just haven't seen a lot of it. You know, yeah, sometimes that changeup will have a little cutting action. But haven't seen him really fade it down and away to the right-handed hitters. Wiping his hand, trying to stay dry. Raining harder now than it probably has been all afternoon, and certainly harder than it did during the 2.5-hour rain delay, the non-rain delay the other night.
That's low, and it's full 3-2.
More of a fly ball type pitcher, so you're not that concerned with the ground ball double play, especially with Fowler on first and Jackson in the box. And Dexter with a very modest lead, so I don't think he's going anywhere here. Now he is, because that's ball 4, but he's not moving with the pitch.
Here's Castro hitting 3rd in the lineup today. That's Jeff Pico, the pitching coach.
Patience, obviously a buzzword around the Reds these days with all these rookie pitchers. Bailey will be back next year. I think they're going to be in the market for, I don't know how aggressive they'll be looking for, if they don't feel like they're ready to compete, I don't know how aggressive they'll be looking for another frontline pitcher. So, Bailey it'd be like Monopoly. He'd be their boardwalk. Their high dollar, high value guy. And then they'd have a whole lot of Baltic avenues. Ultimately, ideally you'd like to have a boardwalk, maybe even a Park Place, throw in a Marvin Gardens there.
want to play this game with you, but it's been so long since I played Monopoly. I was going to say that the problem with next year for the Reds and the Brewers is that the Cardinals, Cubs, and the Pirates all own all the hotels.
They got a lot of they got a lot of houses stacked up on their property already. So if you don't have a boardwalk or a park place, then you got to have a lot of Pacific and Ventnor, and you got to have a lot of threes, I guess is what I'm saying, or get a good solid mid rotation guys.
Hey. Shallow right, Jay Bruce makes the catch.
Just in case we ever play, I want to be the race car.
Done. I'll let you do that.
You can be the shoe. And becoming a lot more thoughtful, more deliberate here. Trying to work his way through trouble in the fifth. With Anthony Rizzo standing in the batter's box, understandable that a pitcher would take a little more time. Make sure he's committed before making the pitch. Pitch that gets him in trouble here is a sloppy breaking ball. He got it ahead of Anthony. He finished him with a good breaking pitch out of the zone last time. And sometimes you get into that mindset and you get a little lazy with that breaking ball and you hang it in the zone. That's the one that's going to get crushed. That's the change up there.
One and two on Rizzo. Here's a pitch. Close. Didn't get it.
Reds pitchers, like a lot of pitchers in the league, especially the guys in the division that see Anthony time and time again, they've made a real commitment. We see it from the Reds, we see it from the Pirates to try to jam Anthony.
Left field corner, over is Bourgeois. It's a fair ball, and it's going to bounce out of play. That's a double. So Fowler will score. Jackson will be sent back to third. 4-0.
Anthony take a high fastball and ride it to left field for a two-base hit last night. This time he's wondering whether it's going to stay fair or not. This has got a lot of slice spin on it. Bourgeois just can't get there in time, running out of room. At some point you have to slow down a little bit or you're just going to go headlong into that wall. RBI double for Rizzo, and that will send Lamb to the showers.
Double switch as Brian Price makes the change. It is 4-0 Cubs in the fifth, and we'll be right back. will play left. Bourgeois goes from left to center. Tyler Holt is out. And right-hander Burke Badenhop will do the pitching.
We've seen a fair bit of Badenhop this year. He is pitching for the 67th time. He has pitched to a 4.08 ERA. He's not a strikeout guy. He's seen just 32 punch-outs in 64 innings. About 69 hits, 4 long ones, walked 20, league bats 274 against him. Ground ball guy. Less so this year than he has been in the past, but that's his MO. Sinkers, sliders, and changeups.
Strike on Denorfia.
When you watch Badenhop throw, it looks like he's kind of aiming the ball, guiding it towards home plate.
Tapped on the ground, charged, and Frazier can't get it. A run is in. Jackson scores. Infield hit to Denorfia.
I think the play there is probably to glove that ball. I think if Frazier goes at that one with 2 hands, he's probably going to have a shot at Denorfia at first base. But, you know, an infielder's just got to trust his instincts. Anyway, Badenhop, you know, he could probably, you know, put a little more effort into it and find a little more velocity, but he would sacrifice movement. For him, it's all about just trying to sink the ball down around the knees. When he's up there, usually bad things happen. Oh, rain is really coming now.
Yep. Boy. Sawed him off. Swing and a miss to end the inning. It's starting to rain pretty hard. Let's see if we continue. Middle in the 5th, 5-0 Cubs.
the 5th. Take home a game used or autographed item and help benefit Cubs charities. Cubs Authentics is the premier outlet for all MLB authenticated Cubs memorabilia. Visit Cubs.com/authentics to bid on weekly auction items and to pre-order game used bases and baseballs. The Cubs will donate net proceeds from the sale of Cubs Authentics to Cubs charities.
We continue on, and obviously getting through this bottom of the 5th is key to make it an official game. Cubs leading 5-0. Brennan Bosch just came in as part of a double switch. 1 ball, no strikes. Infield dirt getting a little shiny in spots, and that's never a good sign.
Yeah, and if you're pitching in this situation and you got a chance to pick up a W, you're giving no indication at all to the umpire that the conditions are adverse. You know, yeah, I'm good, footing's good, everything's good. We're just gonna play on here. Now, if you're losing, you're slipping around, you're kind of throwing your arms up. Man, it's brutal out here. Somebody's gonna get hurt.
I don't think it has stopped raining since we started the game. Yet, as you mentioned, it has rained a lot more than it did when we had a 2.5-hour delay the other night. Your favorite analogy is a box of chocolates, and the weather in the Midwest is like that. You just never know.
That gal on the end of that last shot, she did not appear to be really having a good time. Somebody needs to get her a cup of Skyline chili.
Which one's
or
having a good time?
Down here in the end here.
On the right?
Yeah. Well, none of them look all that enthused.
I was going to say.
Come on, people. You're at the ballpark. It's a beautiful day.
Bosch strikes out. Schwarber will complete the play. So Vince on Twitter made a good point. Our third place note technically is correct, but he mentioned the 1977 American League East. The Yankees won 100 games that year. Baltimore and Boston tied for second with 97 wins. So that was a pretty good year for those teams.
And free wild card, man. A lot of teams that had great years went home. I finished up in '93 with the Giants, and we won 100, or they won 102 games, I think.
Lost 103. How about 103 wins, 59 losses, 636 winning percentage, and you go home. Rizzo to Hamill. They get Bourgeois. So the Cardinals have 3 games left. They'd have to win all 3 to match the 1993 Giants. The Cardinals will have the best record in baseball, and the Giants missed the playoffs.
And the interesting thing about the Cardinals is, you know, they're built for the long season. You know, pitching depth, rotation depth has been the real key for them. That's mitigated now when you get into the postseason. And not that they don't have good pitching, but I don't know, you know, if you rank the top rotation guys, 1, 2, say, on each of the playoff teams, I'm not sure that they're not 5th of the 5. Matter of fact, I think they are, right? I mean, you got Kershaw, Greinke, Arrieta, Lester, the Met thing, DeGrom, Harvey, Syndergaard, however they play it. Cole, Liriano, or Cole Burnett. And I guess it would be Walker Lackey. And Martinez is hurt now, so that big arm is down. But because they have played so well all year long and have 100 wins, the Cubs and the Pirates are both going to have to use their ace in the playing game. So they've earned that advantage.
Two and two. Yeah, not burning your race in the wild card is an advantage to being in the division series. The bigger advantage is you can't get eliminated. You basically get a bye, and you to stay alive. You get a series instead of just a game.
You get the bye, and you get to face a number 2 as opposed to, well, you get to face a Park Place instead of a Boardwalk, right, theoretically.
Votto deflects that off Hamill, goes right to Rizzo. How about a 1-3-1? With his own defense in basketball.
You don't mark that on the scorecard very often.
And that will end the inning. 5-0 Cubs. Had not had a winning season before he got there, and then everything turned around. Let's hear from Joe and how he got through the tough times early on.
There was a lot of tough conversations that first years with guys that really weren't very good major league players that thought they were. Wow, I mean, that was like some really delusional stuff that you had to deal with in behind closed doors, and it was bizarre. I mean, because I had come from a really good situation in Anaheim, and then to deal with that the first year and a half there, it got better. I've talked about this a lot when we got Danny Wheeler in the trade. Why Danny? I mean, we lost Wigginton, who I love. We got Danny, and Danny really gave substance to the bullpen.
Yeah, it all turned around in 2008. They went from a 66-win team to a 97-win American League pennant winning club. And the rain has dissipated. They did some infield work between innings, and we continue on. And a base hit. Schwarber with a hard ground ball into right. Chris Coughlin will bat for Jason Hamill. 5 shutout innings today for the starter. Justin Grimm is up. Well, he got into some trouble, got out of the trouble.
Like so many of the Cubs starters before him over this last stretch, posting a bunch of zeros. Position to pick up his 10th win. and finish his season on a high note.
Got no walks today for Hamill.
Cubs starters with a major league best 2.68 ERA here in the month of, well, not here because we're in October now, but in the month of September.
All right, the last 5 Cubs starters, so one turn through. 33 and a third innings. 14 hits. 1 run. 2 walks. 38 strikeouts.
Pretty impressive.
You know, the irony of all the monopoly talk
Yeah.
today is the fact that you didn't mention that you landed on free parking this morning.
I did.
Long story short, JD rented a car at the team hotel. Never got to drive it. Coughlin will be out. That's a double play. 6-4 to 3.
Yeah, they gave my car away when I went down to get it yesterday.
Somebody claimed it, and then you got charged for parking this morning. And you're like, well, I didn't get technically chance to drive it.
And the woman behind the desk kind of looked at me kind of funny. I said, what? She goes, yeah, I said, yeah, they gave my car away. She said, they gave your car away? I said, well, it was a rental.
A strike on Russell.
The idea of the reservation is you hold the reservation.
You should send all this to Jeff Garland and tell him to tell Larry to ride it into the next curb. But they took my car. Yeah, that's always a fun one. And the valet comes back and says, somebody took your car.
And somebody happens to be a left-handed pitcher for the Chicago Cubs from Arkansas. But I don't think he intentionally took my car. He just, there's supposed to be a car here for the Cubs. It's there, take this one.
Swing and a miss to end the inning. All Cubs again today. Leading 5-0.
Register for a chance to purchase 2015 Cubs postseason tickets for games played at Wrigley Field. Go to Cubs.com/postseason to register and learn more. The Cubs will conduct a second random drawing from among eligible fans who successfully complete the registration form. The registration period for a National League Championship Series games ends at noon, Thursday, October 8th. A little pizza in the rain here for some Cub fans, and this is a pretty good turnout of Cub fans of this series here in Cincinnati. Red fans have kind of moved on. They're focusing on the Bengals these days, I think.
Here's Justin Grimm.
Grimm has had an outstanding year. He's struggled of late with his command. Too many walks lately.
Phillips out of the deep right center. Fowler on the move. That ball is going to one-hop the wall. And Phillips into second with a double. That is his 300th career double.
That is the third leadoff double by the Reds here this afternoon. So far, they have not been able to cash them in the first two. Jason Hamill, 5 innings, 5 hits, no runs this afternoon. So Grimm trying to set an aggressive tone, challenges with a heater, and Grimm gets ambushed by Brandon Phillips. First pitch swinging. Has himself a 2-base hit.
Phillips on his way to third. He'll get the bag without a throw.
Yeah, down 5, obviously, that's not a real critical base, but I think Phillips' position is, well, if they're going to give it to me, I'm going to take it. Baez was playing way off the bag.
Well, he gets a stolen base, as he should, as opposed to the defensive indifference we often see late in games and blowouts. Shallow left. Baez will make the catch. Phillips sneaking. Oh, he fell down.
There you go.
And he's out. Boy, Phillips was kind of messing around with Baez, and he ended up slipping on the wet crack.
Yep.
Double play.
I mean, that will not play well in the home dugout. Sneaking down the line, thinking he's going to exploit Baez with his head down. His knee buckles down. He goes.
5-2-6 on the double play. Yeah, there's nobody at third. That's why he was doing it. But once he slipped, that was it.
Sometimes guys get a little too creative out there.
Yeah. I'm guessing his answer to the question of what were you doing was, well, if Baez put his head down and forgot about me, I was going to score.
Yeah. And then I would say, yeah, but we're down 5 runs. Why would you take that risk?
That's high on Frazier. 2-1.
And he would say, well, it's the last home game of the year, and I just want to give the people a thrill. Just trying to have a little fun at the old ballpark.
By the way, every time I watch Javi Baez play defense, he gets better and better. His instincts out there. He doesn't panic. How about the throw to the plate after looking at second in the 4th inning? Was thinking about turning a double play, realized he didn't have a chance, and then he went, oh, I got the guy at the plate. That's it. Inning over as Frazier grounds out. 5-0 Cubs after 6. Oops-a-daisy. that list. Chris Coghlan originally was an infielder in the Marlins chain, and the Cubs have taken advantage of that. Chris Bryant has played all over the outfield, both corner spots on the infield. Baez last night got a little taste of first base, and Kyle Schwarber has caught and played the corner spots in the outfield as well. And you've got natural shortstop playing third. There's just no panic at all for Javi Baez. That was in the 4th inning.
Kind of looked like a quarterback, right? You looked at, oh, that guy's not open, so
right.
Here's my check off. Schwarber's in the clear. We'll go to him. Matthews follows Badenhop out of the Reds bullpen. 2-4 with a 4.19.
Well, it also looks like Baez has his checkdowns kind of internalized before the play even starts, which is the key, right? Playing good defense with runners on base. Understanding, if not this, then this.
Yeah, in that particular play, you know, normally a man on third is always going to go on contact there to stay out of the double play. With Suarez moving, I mean, Bruce could have opted to stay put, and that would have left his only option being first base. But the priority there for the runner on third is to make sure the double play doesn't get turned.
2-1 on Fowler. Here it is. It has stopped raining. And we want to welcome all our viewers watching on Dish Network. He got him looking.
Talked about this. Fowler in the first half got rung up on a lot of borderline pitches. Certainly one there. Blame him for not hacking at that one.
That's a strike.
Today's the anniversary of the first ever World Series game. 1903, the Pittsburgh Pirates defeated the Boston Americans 7-3. Cy Young took the loss. Got beat by Deacon Philip or Philippe.
Who won the Cy Young that year? Jay Bruce for the out.
This is also the anniversary of the Babe Ruth quote-unquote called shot game in the 32 World Series off Charlie Root.
Fernando Rodney. They did have some World Series in the 1880s and 90s, but those were considered exhibition games. So what, 8-game series, 1903?
Yeah, 5 games to 3.
Was it first to 5, or were they just going to play 8 no matter what?
It was first to 5. I don't know whether they played 8 and then just declared a draw if they were 4-4. It seems very un-American.
Two balls, no strikes on Castro. Starlin 0 for 3. And it's outside, 3-0. In the air, deep to right. Bruce, little look back, and he's got room. And that'll end the inning, and we'll stretch here in Cincy. Cubs 5, Reds nothing. Of the game. It's hashtag Northside Data Strong Fan. And you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile, but you better hurry. We only have a couple of broadcasts left here in the regular season. Fernando Rodney here in the 7th. We're going to see Strop and Rondon finish in the 8th and 9th today.
Well, Grimm worked a scoreless 6th, and now Rodney on 67th time he has pitched this year. 7-5, a 4.87 ERA. He's been good since donning the Cub blue. .087 his ERA in a Cub uniform.
Eugenio Suarez single and reached on an error. Strike call.
It appeared to be a get-over changeup by Rodney. And there's the swing and miss. The attempted swing and miss pitch. He was a fastball changeup.
Suarez has homered off Rodney. Their only other matchup. That's high.
Well, maybe just not real loose yet. Maybe that's just fastball.
I think it is. Yeah, we've seen him in the low to mid 90s.
Looking down in the Cub dugout, I see Joe Madden looking around and Mike Borzella coming down to get in his ear a little bit, and I'm wondering if they're having the same conversation. Where's the velocity?
Well, hit hard and past a diving Addison Russell on a fastball at 91. Bring up Barnhart, the catcher. served into right center. Suarez will stop at second. First two men have reached.
Yeah, and I wonder if Joe's going to send Chris Bosio out there to check in with Rodney. Say, "You all right, man?" Because his velocity is clearly down. Normally he's right around 95 miles an hour. Bosio's on the phone with the bullpen, maybe to get somebody up, and maybe also to ask Lester Strode how his warm-up went.
Ramon Cabrera off the bench.
.360 batting average for Cabrera. His 25 big league at bats. He's 9 out of 25. Switch hitter, 7 out of 20 from this side of the plate.
Two and 0.
He was the MVP down at Louisville, their AAA affiliate. That earned him the Mary E. Barney Award.
That's their MVP.
Yeah. Hit 290.
Cahill and Richard.
Did not hit for power. His 2 home runs at AAA. Yeah, I would think Cahill and Richard, and with a fair bit of urgency too.
He's in danger of loading the bases here.
Got to 93 there, but he really had to muscle up to get there.
Back-to-back singles, Suarez and Barnhart, and now 3-1 on the pinch hitter, Cabrera. Three and 2. Broken bat, bouncer to short, little bobble by Russell. He's got no play. Everybody's safe. An error on Russell. Trouble here for Rodney.
And shuffling over, trying to get in front of that ball, catch it, and get into a good position to make a flip to second base. He might have been better off trying to backhand this ball. It's got a little slice spin on him. Never able to get comfortably behind that ball. And Hop got up into the midsection a little bit. Reds have had opportunities today, but they have not been able to cash in.
Bosch swings and misses on the change. Reds are trying to avoid their 12th straight defeat, trailing 5-0 here in the 7th. They have the bases loaded with nobody out. You throw him another one?
Well,
missed the first two.
Yeah, and they look pretty bad on each of them. If he throws him a heater, I would think it would be way up. There you go. Now he's. Sometimes it takes a few extra pitches. Sometimes it takes a little adrenaline induced by a bit of a crisis.
Swing and a miss. Foss just could not figure out the changeup. One away.
And that one show me inside fastball on 0-2, and then right back to the changeup.
Now, one of those changeups was in the strike zone. Really hard to lay off. Bourgeois takes low. $26,352 the paid crowd today. Reds drew 2.4 million plus. Very tough year for the Reds. 34-46 here in their home ballpark. Maybe a little bump because of the All-Star game being here.
Last year in the offseason, there was a lot of talk about which direction the Reds would go. Would they try to move some of the long-term deals they had, go into a rebuild? And it was understandable that they didn't, because they had so many injuries last year as well. Reasonable to think that they would be able to perform better this year.
They'll try to turn two. Russell the flip. Castro the turn. Safe. Bourgeois just beat it out, and the Cubs will want another look at it. For the time being, it's 5-1.
Kind of that in-between position for Russell there, where he could kind of flip it sidearm or do the underhand flip that he did. Usually when you unload sidearm, you're going to get a little bit more on the throw. Could have been a difference maker getting this double play turn.
Very, very close. Joe is going to challenge, I believe. No, maybe not. Nope. He's just going to come out and make a change. So the Reds on the board. And here comes Clayton Richard. It's 5-1 Cubs in the seventh, and we'll be back. A run in. And here's Clayton Richard with runners at first and third.
Well, Clayton's done a nice job since joining the Cubs. He's pitched 22 games, 3 times as a starter. He's gone 4-2 with a .383 earned run average. Ground ball pitcher. You see, not a strikeout guy. 22 punch outs and 42 in the third innings. Votto, he's very good against both right and left-handed pitchers. Good against everybody. Doesn't matter. Power, finesse.
Votto bounces into center, and Barnhart will score. The on-base streak now 47 games for Joey Votto. 5-2, and a tying run will come to the plate.
Well, and Joe's going to make another pitching change. One pitch outing for Clayton Richard. That run will go on Fernando Rodney's ledger.
So another change, and we'll be back. Seventh.
Trevor works for the 25th time. He was with Atlanta earlier this year, and he's combined to go 1-3 with a .540. And Mike Rodney's been a lot better since putting on a Cub uniform.
Reds had 2 on for Brandon Phillips. They had an adventurous time in the 6th. He doubled to start that inning. And then on a pop up to third, he started dancing off third base, slipped and fell, and ran into a 5-2-6 double play.
Trevor Cahill, while with the Cubs, has pitched 8 times. 15 1/3 innings. He has a 1.76 ERA. He's walked 4, struck out 19.
Cahill ready. Here it is. Strike called. Top of the zone.
Yeah, when Cahill gets good movement on his fastball, for him it's all about angles. You know, when he makes sure he gets his arm up, he'll get good sink on that fastball. Other times he drops his arm down a little bit, the ball will have run but not sink, and that's where he can run into some trouble.
Baez can't get it, and it eludes Russell. Here comes Bourgeois, 5-3.
One rule, the base hit could have gone the other way. Neither chance in this inning, the Russell error or this base hit, neither one was easy. Both plays that could have been made. Official score rules that Russell should have been made, and that Baez had a tougher play, but I think both guys would tell you that both plays should have been made.
So all these runs charged to Rodney. There was an error earlier in the inning by Russell. A little bit too close for comfort here. Jay Bruce fouls.
And Joe Madden was going to get Strop and Rondon into this game regardless of the score. He wanted to get them some work, but he's going to need them to finish this ball game.
One to Bruce. 2 sac flies for Jay last night. He is 1 for 3 with a double today. Reds have put up 4 hits and 3 runs so far here in the 7th. Pitch. 1-2.
And then the other part of it too, defensively in an inning like this, somebody's probably done a study, right? But I would imagine there's some correlation between slow pace, a lot of pitching changes, and defensive play. Just tough to stay completely locked in, to stay in rhythm in the flow of the game.
Swing and a miss on the changeup to end the inning. But the Reds get 3. They made it a tight game late. 5-3 Cubs. Pre-game live. Then after the game, flip back to CSN for instant reaction from Soldier Field on Bears post-game live starting Sunday at 11 a.m. on CSN Chicago. The 3 runs charged to Fernando Rodney unearned, as Manny Parra, veteran left-hander, will make his 40th appearance for Cincinnati.
Parra has pitched to a 4.02 ERA. Former starting pitcher with the Brewers. This is his 3rd season here in Cincinnati. Fastball, slider, and he'll mix in a split finger pitch from time to time.
Lefty to lefty, Parra to Rizzo. Ball 1.
Reds trying to snap a long losing streak. They dropped 11 in a row. They've had 2 other 9-game losing streaks this year.
during this skid, we'll include today as well, the Reds have been outscored 83-28. Strope up in the Cubs bullpen. Cub fans in the background. Go Cubs go.
Sit down. Thank you.
And 3-1 is a strike. It's full.
Go Cubs go chant being led by that man right there, the skipper.
I have nothing else to add. Rizzo in the air to center. Bourgeois still going back. And he's got it on the track. Northia with an infield single to knock in a run in the fifth. Struck out his first 2 times.
If that's the captain, where's Tennille?
Swing and a miss.
Parra had some success as a starter at the Brewers, but ultimately made the transition to the bullpen. The knock on him back in the day was that he just tried to throw too many different pitches: fastball, curve, slider, splitter. He has simplified things now that he's made this transition to the bullpen. His better command, the walk numbers way down.
Ball strike 3. With 2 outs, he's 2 for 3, double and a single. There's Bryant getting the day off. Called strike. So if the Cubs hang on here, they will go into tomorrow night still with a shot at catching the Pirates and earning home field advantage next Wednesday in the wild card game. Again, Cubs would have to win the rest of their games and have the Reds beat the Pirates 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh. Tall order, not impossible, certainly improbable.
And usually teams near the bottom of the standings, pretty easy to beat late in the year like this. It's not that they're not trying, but it's just you lose that edge. When you're in a pennant race and you're playing meaningful games, you always have that edge. You maintain that edge. This time of the year for a losing team, your thoughts start to turn to the offseason. You're making your tee times and your travel plans. And again, it's not like you're not trying, but you just don't have that edge. Much like a goalie in hockey can be a difference maker, a starting pitcher on any given day in Major League Baseball, a guy can step out there and just shut you down.
Swung on and missed, and that will end the inning. Sounds like free pizza. I haven't done the math. Yep. 5-3 Cubs.
Calling all Cubbies. The Chicago Cubs offer special programs designed just for the future Cub. From Cubs Kids Sundays at the ballpark to Clark's Crew, we have various ways to build lifelong Cub memories with your kids. Visit Cubs.com/kids to learn all about these exciting offerings.
Here's Pedro Strop.
Trevor Cahill got a big strikeout of Jay Bruce, 10-7, so a third for Cahill. Rodney Richard Cahill patching it together there to get through the 7th, and now Strop will have the 8th and Rondon the 9th. That would be the plan anyway. We'll see if they're able to execute it. Strop has to deal with a dangerous hitter here, Todd Frazier.
Swing and a miss. As Michael points out on Twitter, Cubs could lose one game and still catch the Pirates if the Pirates get swept by the Reds. I'd say that's pretty unlikely. Their magic number's 2.
Like the optimism, though, Michael.
Yep. Cubs on the tiebreaker, so all they have to do is finish with the same record as the Pirates. Gets away on, doesn't matter. Frazier might have gone after it, but he didn't. On appeal, Jim Wolf made the call.
Jim Wolf, you know, way back in the day, there was a chicken wolf, also known as Jimmy Wolf. His given name was Willie Wolf. Played like it back in the late 1800s. And he once hit an inside the park home run because a dog was biting the center fielder's leg. You can look it up, it's true. Chicken Wolf. Dog was sleeping out along the outfield fence, and Chicken hit a gapper, and the center fielder went running after it, and so did the dog, and the dog latched into the center fielder's leg, and Chicken Wolf circled the bases.
We are efforting a replay of said home run.
We'd have to do a reenactment. One of those old Chevy Chase SNL bits when he do the artist rendering. And Chicken Wolf was running the bases as fast as he could. I don't know if Randy and Jim Wolf are descendants of the great Chicken Wolf or not. I want to say he was WOLFE, but well, I'll tell you what. We'll go to the Google machine here.
No E.
No E?
No. William Van Winkle Wolf.
Yeah.
Born in 1862. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Disappearing slider. Frazier's 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts.
Chicken Wolf was the only player to play for the American Association in that league all 10 years of its existence. National League umpire, 1895 to 97.
And apparently got the nickname because one day the manager told him before the game, he told his team not to eat too much. It would weigh them down, but he loaded up on chicken stew and had a bad game. So one of his teammates nicknamed him Chicken after that.
2 strikes on Suarez. He's had a good day. Been on all 3 times. 2 for 3. Once reached on an error by Hamill. Low and outside in the dirt. Slider.
A couple of punch outs, one swinging, one looking. Suarez taking issue with Bill Miller. But yeah, that's the hope, right? That Strop is very efficient here in this inning, and that would lighten the burden on Rondon. First off, he would take the ball in the 9th with a 2-run lead, and he wouldn't have to deal with the meat of this Reds order.
Barnhart.
You can get Barnhart here. It would be a pinch hitter, Bosch and Bourgeois in the bottom of the 9th.
There's a base hit. Jackson will pick it up quickly. Keep Barnhart to a 2-out single. Duvall off the bench to pinch hit.
He has power. He's 2 out of 8 as a pinch hitter with a pinch hit home run. I guess that's the only kind of home run you could have as a pinch hitter.
That was the one off Grimm, right? Wrigley Field. And his Reds debut. August 31st at Wrigley.
Minor league home runs this year. 26 of those came with Sacramento when he was still in the Giants organization. He led the PCL in home runs at the time of his trade.
Swing and a miss on a slider. 1-2 the count on Duvall. Swing and a miss. Slider gets him. All the outs were strikeouts. We go to the ninth. Cubs 5, Reds 3.
Baseball. Reserve your place in line for history in the making. Join the season ticket holder waiting list. It's easy and free to register. For details, visit Cubs.com/waiting list.
Michael Lorenzen, we saw him as a starter earlier this year, pitching in relief. Ninth inning, Cubs lead by 2.
Another rookie. 4.9 with a 5.48 ERA. He's got a good arm, good stuff. Just trying to figure it out here at the big league level. Home runs have been an issue for him. 18 long ones allowed in 111 2/3 innings of work. He's made 21 starts. This will be his 5th appearance out of the bullpen.
Strop with a 4-batter, 3 strikeout 8th inning. Kyle Schwarber will lead it off. Tommy La Stella's on deck.
I have heard some talk that should they move Aroldis Chapman, that Lorenzen would be an option as a closer.
Fouled away by Schwarber.
Got that plus heater. That one clocked at 97 miles an hour. He's a good athlete. He can really swing the bat well. Obviously, that isn't much of a factor for a relief pitcher.
Swing and a miss. Phillies beat the Mets in shutout fashion today, 3-0 the final. Mets have already clinched the National League East. Some rain in Baltimore. 3-0 Orioles over the Blue Jays early. Make sure you follow Patrick Mooney, our Cubs insider, all season long on Comcast Sportsnet, brought to you by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Visit Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. And we'll chat with Patrick in Milwaukee as the Cubs get set for their first postseason action in 7 years. Tommy La Stella looks at a strike. So Alex Rios has played the most games among current players without a postseason appearance. That will come to an end as the Royals are in 3-1 to get La Stella. Any guesses on the rest of the top 5? 1,688 games for Rios. Next on the list, 1,400 games without a playoff appearance.
1,400 games without a playoff appearance.
2 and 3 on the list are teammates. In fact, I will give you the other 2 on the list. Line drive, base hit for Russell. Chase Headley is 4th. He's with the Yanks. Adam Lind with the Brewers. That will continue 1099, so he may take over the top spot.
So 2 and 3
are teammates.
But they're going to be in the postseason this year?
Yep.
Ooh.
Two prominent teammates.
Joey Bats?
Jose Bautista, number 2, 1,400 games. Number 3, former Red.
Encarnacion?
Edwin Encarnacion.
I keep forgetting he's been around that long, because he didn't really become Edwin until a couple of years ago in Toronto. He was a good prospect here, had some good years, and he blew up in Toronto.
A CBSSports.com piece about this topic, and the all-time leader in games played, all time, without a postseason appearance.
Ernie
Banks, 2,528 games. Luke Appling, Mickey Vernon, Buddy Bell, and Ron Santo on the list. How about this? Joe Torre, 6th.
Yeah, well, you figure that, right? The pre-divisional era, for the most part, you're going to find a lot of names because you had to win the pennant to get to the postseason.
Joe Torre never went to the playoffs as a player, but he went 15 times as a big league manager. On the outside, 2-2 the count. Russell back in safely. Rondon with a save situation at the moment in the bottom of the 9th. Bosch, Bourgeois, and Votto are due. Line and caught as Suarez leaves his feet, back of second to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 9th as the Cubs shoot for the sweep. They lead 5-3. Final regular season start. We'll look for his major league leading 22nd win as the Cubs open up a set with the Brewers. We'll have the first pitch at 7 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Here's Hector Rondon. He'll try to get his 29th save, which would tie last year's career high total.
He's got 28, 32 tries. He has a 1.72 ERA. He's got Bosch, Bourgeois, and Votto to deal with here in the bottom of the 9th.
You noted this as Jim Riggleman was running from the first base dugout out to his position at third. He seemed to point at the Cubs dugout, maybe Joe Madden, and give him a thumbs up, as if to say good luck in the playoffs. Jim, a former Cubs manager, he had a little chat with Dexter Fowler as Dexter was headed out to center field. It's classy. Here we go. Rondon to Bosch. Bounce to Baez. Nice pick. One away.
Pretty play. Not an easy play for left-hander's bat. You don't anticipate that. And great instincts, good hands. Rarely do you see a left-handed hitter hit the ball on the ground in that direction.
Bourgeois with one out. Missed too high. Tim Hudson retiring. He's going to start this afternoon. His swan song for the Giants. Jeremy Affeldt will retire. Ramos Ramirez, we'll see him next week. Whenever the Pirates season ends, he will retire. A.J. Burnett, sounds like that's a possibility. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
All those players you mentioned have had very good major league careers.
Barry Zito, right?
Didn't Zito and Hudson pitch against each other? They called
did.
them. And it really hits you the next spring training when you realize there's this exodus to ball players going to Florida and to Arizona, and you're staying home.
Right, because the winter kind of feels like every other winter.
Yeah. Baseball season ends, you have the winter off. Probably play a little more golf and do a little more hunting and less working out. But it's when it starts back up again that I think players really feel it for the first time that, ooh, this is weird, man. I'm not going to spring training.
Was 96 the only summer or spring you didn't since you started in baseball?
Yeah.
On the ground, Baez again. 2 down.
Sit at home thinking they're really going to do this without me.
Or he said, you better get a job.
Get off the couch. Well, that was a big out there to get Bourgeois so he could deal with Votto with nobody on base. He got a hit last time to keep his streak alive of reaching base, now 47 consecutive games.
Into center. Tying run will come up. It's Brandon Phillips. couple of hits in 4 tries. His average has gone up from 290 to 292. Not easy to move that average this late in the season for a guy who plays basically every day. This should do it. Russell to Castro. Cubs win. Cubs win their 5th in a row. Their starting pitching continues to dominate. They send the Reds to their 12th consecutive defeat. Now they'll root for Cincinnati against the Pirates this weekend as we head to Milwaukee.
Yeah, we talked about in the open about Jason Hamill and his recent struggles and how this could be an important start for him. One, to plant that seed in Joe Maddon's mind. Yes, I am the guy you need to give the ball to in the division series. And, secondarily, just to buoy his confidence going through a rough stretch. He was solid here today. 5 shutout innings. Austin Jackson, the offensive hero, with a 3-run home run, also made a heck of a play in the outfield that saved a couple of runs.
And our Benny's Beverage Depot toast of the game, Austin Jackson, who had the 5 RBIs last night. Career high 5 knocked in. And today the eventual game-winning 3-run homer.
Came off the rookie Lamb in the 3rd inning after a couple of walks. And he earned hugs. And here's the play in the outfield. A little late adjustment on that drive with a couple of men on base. Well done, Austin Jackson.
So once again, the final score, the Cubs 5 and the Reds 3. We're back with you tomorrow, 7 o'clock Central Time from Milwaukee. Cubs and the Brewers to start the final series of the regular season. Now for JD and our entire crew here in Cincinnati, I'm Casper inviting you to stay tuned for Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs post-game live.